Okay. All right. So finally, I got to finally ask you for your input on this topic. This is what's going on, lately. This is going off because here's why it's so important. I am getting multiple arguments from multiple sources, multiple inputs from multiple fighters. Now, some fighters are going up against grapplers. Some people are saying, okay, so let us give some context, all right? Orlando Sanchez.
Say what you're speaking about first before everyone.
Okay, yeah. Well, you don't got to give it a little bit of suspense. Orlando Sanchez, input me on this because I'm pretty sure you know a fair bit of information as well. So if I say something that may not be correct, let me know. Okay. Orlando Sanchez, he's in the gym. He's a 3-time ADCC world champion, super heavyweight, and he's very, very humble dude. He's a big boy. He's a thick boy too, but he's a really humble dude. And, he's known for being a little bit rough in training. That's what they say. Sean Strickland, who's a light heavyweight? Middleweight, sorry. In UFC, apparently was in the gym. And I don't know, this is from Orlando's point of view I'm talking through. He was in the gym and then he was saying, jiu-jitsu guys. And he was like pretending to wank and all that. Obviously, he was trying to insult them.
This is what I think of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and all that sort of stuff, which is a bit strange considering you're an MMA fighter and I'm pretty sure jiu-jitsu.
I think he's just winding him up and being a bit...
Yeah.
It's just a bit of banter going on.
Yeah, okay. And then so... Orlando, it's like, okay, man, do you want to get in the cage? You want to have a little roll, all that sort of stuff. Now, I don't know if this was his intentions to be a little bit dirty on the feet, but he got him in an underhook. Okay, Sean got in an underhook, and then Orlando quickly grabbed his arm and swept it across the body. Now, I don't know the damage he did to Sean, but he kind of tweaked it, or maybe hyperextended it a little bit. And that caused Sean to lash out.
I know. So from what I know is from what you covered, he was antagonizing him a little bit beforehand. He basically said, look, this is what I think of jiu-jitsu, da-da-da.
Yeah.
Sean had also basically said to Orlando, hey, no matter what you do, you're not going to fucking beat me and things like that. I'm like, okay, that's what any fighter would say. I did a little bit of research into what Orlando was doing. So Orlando, basically he pushes them off, breaks distance, they come back in, and basically they're fighting for the underhook and things like that, right? He said he was going for an underhook, right? However, I did a little bit of research into it. A lot of people have said he's actually done a bit of a dirty move. It's a dirty wrestling move, which you do. You're going for an underhook, but you're actually catching their arm.
Catching the arm.
So what you're looking to
across the body, so it kind of...
You're trying to almost tweak or break the ulnar.
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to do, right?
Yeah.
And he's being dirty and underhanded, and it wasn't okay.
Yeah.
What was funny was today, on Flow Grappling, he gets interviewed about it, right? And he basically says, he was saying all this stuff to me and things like that, and I didn't let it get to me. And then he basically afterwards said, this is exactly why I did it. So he was trying to act like he was humble and wasn't saying anything.
Yeah.
But then he explained why he was being a bit intense and things like that in it.
Well, what was surprising to me was the way he responded to him as well. He let him kick him. He just tried to spin him back.
He tipped him in his fat belly. I bet he didn't feel it. He literally just did it. He went for I think it was with his right leg, just tipped him in the body. And he said, you know what I'm trying to do? I've got a fight coming up. Should you be doing dirty shit like that?
Yeah, well, why are you pissing off Orlando in the first place?
Shouldn't have been doing that.
They shouldn't be doing that. There's no good guy in this sort of situation here. But the way that Orlando responded was a little bit questionable. He was like, what, man? Aren't you a fucking fighter? Aren't you a grappler?
Well, he said that, this is grappling. I went for a submission, but he says, I went for a... What submission? It's not doing any submission. He says he was trying to go for... It's all very shady. He says, I'm going for a submission. Then the next one is, I'm trying to get an underhook or whatever.
Yeah.
But really, he went across and did a dirty move to try and nudge. And basically, he's putting a lot of pressure on his arm, specifically his ulnar. And you can break someone's ulnar that way.
Yeah.
Okay? If it's locked into place and you just go across, you can break someone's arm that way. And Sean's got a fight coming up. Orlando's endangering... a lot of people were very quick to go against Orlando.
Yeah, they were.
Especially the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys.
Yeah.
Because they know that he's not...
He's a bit controversial.
He's not as interesting to watch
Okay.
in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So he basically said, like, they were basically going, yeah, who gives a shit? He's so fucking boring to watch at ADCC anyway, you know? So it's very, very weird. With Orlando, he hasn't really said so much. Really hasn't said much. Neither is Sean.
No.
The one that's spoken the most about it is probably Orlando, since he actually had an interview with Flow Grappling anyway. But I thought it was funny. He's got very mixed responses. He'll say one thing and he'll do it. Like he said, you know, he was saying this thing, he was antagonizing me. I didn't let it get to me. I was like, okay, dude.
Yeah.
And then afterwards he was like,
yeah,
so this is why I did it.
Yeah.
So you were antagonized and you did try and be a bit rough. So
it was pre-planned then. Was it pre-planned? Yeah. Did you want to break? Would you try to hurt him?
I think he was basically like, I don't really care. I don't mind if I get a bit rough and things like that. You were talking shit.
Yeah.
And Sean wasn't in the right saying these things. The one thing we do have on camera is Orlando being a dickhead. The one thing we don't have on camera is Sean being a dickhead.
Yeah, well,
so
that's the other thing.
It's very difficult to prove that type of thing.
Yeah. So we got to make sure what was the context, because context is everything. And the only context we have is Orlando talking something. So we're still yet to hear Sean put out anything as of now, as of the time of this recording.
But he did look a bit silly and then walking away.
Then again, like what were you trying to do? Or why was he even trying to do that in the first place? But also, what if the idea was, what if Orlando was just doing his thing, because he was like, what man, come on, because his reaction sounded pretty genuine.
He was trying to get quite rough in training and doing a little bit of underhanded and dirty tricks in order to get an underhook and things like that. Yeah, which he probably shouldn't be doing, since if you're a triple ADCC champion, shouldn't you not have to resort to dirty tricks? Yeah, because apparently he's got the reputation that he can be a bit dirty and a bit rough in training anyway. So I think it's ammunition on both sides. It's fallout on both sides. I think Orlando did some questionable stuff, and I think Sean probably shouldn't have wound up someone who was much bigger and has much more experience than him in terms of in combat grappling.
Shouldn't have been poking at the line or poking at the bull,
but
or this case poking at the giant war pig.
Yeah, exactly. He's a big boy. He's a big boy. But basically it's just like, it was a scuffle caught on camera, which basically neither of the person were in the right. I just think Orlando was more so in the wrong. Another thing I want to talk about is the thing is, what's funny